So welcome back. I'm Melina MacDonald and I am a human design and liquid crystal practitioner, and I've had a lot of people that have been very curious about human design. Now, for those of you that don't know, this is a that has been actively practiced for, as a combination for about nearly 30 years. And I call it astrology on steroids. Literally, it's using 5 different modalities. So it's using the chakra system, and we do it as a 9-centered, not a 7-centered being, the Kabbalah, the hexagram, the I Ching, and astrology. And these other modalities literally date back to the beginning of time. So I really love it when people go, oh, this is the woo-woo, and this is what New Age, when even astrology is far from New Age. In fact, it's the very first thing that was used back at the beginning of time with the Sumerians. So we're talking 30,000 BC, which is a long time ago. So these are modalities that are coming from India and China, the Sumerians. We're talking about Israelis, like all of these modalities literally have come together and they create what we call human design. So when you get your human design reading done, you're going to end up with a chart that looks like this. And what you're actually going to see on the chart, and I've actually done my own one, which is a little bit more detailed. So when you do your chart, we're going to be looking at, hi Tina, we're going to be looking at, what type are you? So we've got 5 different types of beings out there, and we have got what we call the generators and the manifesting generators. They combined are 70% of beings. So these are the workers, the doers, the builders, this is what you are here to do. So 70% of us are here to do that. And that means you must also do work that you love. So most of you need to quit what the hell you're doing because you're not happy. We then have the manifestors. The manifestors are 8% of the population, and they are the initiators and they are the creators. So for those of you that keep going to coaches that are telling you to just do it, I can tell you right now, you are going to struggle doing that because manifestation is taught incorrectly, and the way they're asking you to just get things done doesn't necessarily work for your individual design. Then we have the projectors. The projectors, these people, they're here to guide the rest of us. They're here to guide that 70% of the generators. These guys, their energetics work very direct. And just to give you an idea, if you have been wondering, why am I always so tired? Why do I feel I can't work a 9-to-5 job? Why do I feel like I'm running on empty all the time? That maybe is because you are a projector. And then we have the reflectors. So these guys are literally like a mirror for absolutely everybody else. And these guys are fabulous to have around. They're only about 1 to 2% of the population. So there's not many of them, and the projectors are around 20%. So they're the 5 different kinds of beings. And the question is, which one are you? Until you know what your type is, then you don't fully understand how you are supposed to be operating. So I want to give you guys just a couple ideas so you understand what we're talking about when you get your chart done. So for example, I had someone the other day that I did the chart for themselves, and I did a chart for their husband. Now, they work in business together, and I can tell you the following day, this person contacted me and she was in tears of gratitude. Now, the reason being is she is a manifesting generator. So the manifesting generator, they are energizer bunnies, and she had all 4 of her motors, her energy motors activated. So I call them like the energizer bunny, literally like, and they're like totally going, and they can work 16 hours a day, every day, and they keep going, and they look at other people and they're like, why are you not working at this capacity? So with her partner, he could be literally, in a meeting, in a movie, in an opera, in a really noisy restaurant, and literally reminds me of the little baby. And he would sit there and it'd just be, and he would conk out. So when we did his chart, I looked at it and I was like, not only is your husband a projector, so he's the guide to help you in business, okay? He's not only a projector, he has no motors working. He has no natural energetic motors. So he's actually borrowing energy from all of the generators and manifesting generators around him. He is borrowing energy from you, and then all of a sudden, boom, he's out cold because he's got nothing left in the bank. And so the hours the husband has been working is not conducive to his design. In addition to that, we went into their love languages. Now, the 5 love languages is fabulous, okay? I love all the modalities. I love the disc profile and the enneagrams and the MYER Briggs. This human design goes so much deeper. So we looked at how you love, how you care, how you fear, how you are sexually, naturally, and we looked at what was happening for him. Because normally when I have someone come for a relationship reading, they are wanting to really, and it's normally women, they're really wanting to understand their partner. And I'm not going to lie here, a lot of the time when they do come and they're doing it that way is because they're trying to work out whether they're going to bail or not in this relationship. So when we looked at how she loves and how she works, firstly, she had a gate in her design, which is called moodiness and sexual moodiness, definitely. So she has this wave that happens. And I've got a lover that's like this. And so I want to catch him on the up wave, because when I catch him on the down wave, he can be real shit. And the electromagnetics is the gate of provocation. So it's about being provoked and to get that balance. So, you have to understand how this works to understand how your lover is. Now, she has these waves, so sometimes she's in and sometimes she's out. But for him, the only activation he had out of 30 odd possibilities of, well, actually more than that, of what I call the songs of your love and your sexuality gates, he only had one. And this particular gate is very auditory and it's very much about the words. And so when we sat there and we discussed it, I'm like, what languaging are you using to your partner? Are you even acknowledging him for when he's doing something? Because this is the only thing that matters. When you are having a fight, from his chart, I said, is it just me, or he will not bite? He will go back into the corner and he will turn around and he'll just go quiet with you. And she said, that's what's happening. So I'm sitting there and I'm provoking him. I'm going, I want to know what's going on with you. I want you to stand up. I want you to do this or that. I said, he's got no energy because he's got no power motors activated. That's the first thing. Secondly, he's also got no sexuality gates other than one of words. So that was so important. So once I explained how her loving, caring, fearing, and sexuality works, and how her husband's operated, the fact that she's an Energizer bunny and he's got bugger all, and he should really, as a projector, not be working a Monday to Friday 9 to 5 job. As a projector, you should not be doing 12-hour days, which is why he conks out, because he actually has no natural motors. Once I explained the 2 charts to her, that is why she cried, because she rang her husband and she explained to him how much she did love him, and she started to see him for who he is. So, as someone that's been a dating guide and a sexuality and relationship guide for a long time, I can literally tell you that what you are being told out there about how you should or shouldn't love, or how you should or shouldn't work, or, your weight and the way you fear, is just a bunch of bullshit. Okay, until you have been seen, until you have had, this is my chart. And I have a lot of activations in my chart. And I was even able to look at the relationships that I've had in the past, and I could see where I was electromagnetically connected to my partners, who had to compromise on what my love and sex song was and what theirs was, how much energy I have in my chart, how I communicate, what dominates, what do I need to do to get shit done, what do I need to do to connect in with the essence of who I am. Now, we've been conditioned. Let's get serious, people. We have been conditioned to do this, say this, wear this, fuck this way, love this way, you name it, right? The reality is that's not correct. Okay. And when I had my chart read for the first time, I freaking cried. And I cried for nearly my 2-hour reading because somebody saw me for the things that, as I'm in my 40s, I'm starting to work out. So no offense, they say that adulting actually starts in your 40s, and I can actually say that that's pretty correct. Now, I want to tell you another one for business. So I did another reading last week. And we've got a family of 4, and we've got the husband, wife, and the 2 daughters. They all work in the family business. Now, they were concerned about one of their daughters because she seemed to just crash and not have energy. And they're going, is something wrong with her? We've got to take her to the doctor, and we've got to do this, and we've got to do that. And what had happened was she'd shown me this photograph that made me laugh so hard because the daughter had put a chair into the garden and literally opened the window of her office, put the laptop on the windowsill. Instead of working from the inside of the building out, she went from the outside of the building in and took her shoes off. Now, she did this without understanding what was going on. So when I did the reading, I explained that number 1, the husband was a manifesting generator. He had a lot of energy centers working. He also had the money line. So this man was really good at creating money if it was done in the right way, in the right vibrational energy. The wife was a generator, and her purpose was to serve. Now, a lot of us sit there and go, yes, I'm here to serve the collective. No, literally her chart was to serve. It was her incarnation cross, which is a combination of your earth and your sun gates that come in, and the conscious and the unconscious. And the way she's designing the business is more for that purpose. So she's getting it, but we had to go deeper. Then we looked at the other daughter who's also a generator, and the last one who went sitting in the garden was a projector. So the first thing that I said to her was, honey, your daughter, she literally cannot work at the capacity of you guys. So we looked at who, by their charts, should be doing what role in the business. And specifically with the projector, explain to her there is nothing wrong with your daughter. The only thing that needs to happen is she needs to work in a different capacity. So for starters, the way your energetics would work is that maybe she might get an inspiration in the middle of the night. And because of the kind of job she's doing, she can do that. So, she can do social media stuff and literally do that at any given hour. She needs to, number 1, work less hours. So 3 to 4 days a week is much better for her. But number 2, when I looked at her individual chart, we really noticed that with her, and she had some beautiful stuff in there. And because, of course, Mum was like, are they going to have children? Are they going to have babies? And it was like, look, your design is here to experiment with. However, on your daughter's charts, I can see their relation. They're very much tribal energy. So they're very much about the marriage contract, and you could see that they were also had the sexual reproduction gates and stuff like that activated. So again, I want to explain that when you are looking at your charts, like for me, as much as I didn't have any of the marriage contract activated in my chart, and I still experienced it a few times, I definitely did not have sexual reproduction or having children. That was never in my chart. And I've been solid since I was about 8 years old. I am not having children. And I'm not going to have children because it's going to distract me from my purpose, which is also to be of service as part of my incarnation. So when we looked at the whole family dynamics, it was about tweaking what each person's role was, about everybody understanding the energetics, and specifically the projectors, understanding that the manifesting generator doesn't need anybody. He could go off and do his own thing. He doesn't need you. Anyone that's a manifesting generator, they don't need people. And if they do, that's because they're not living as per their design. They are not sitting there and understanding, because we're being conditioned. We're conditioned by our family, our friends, our religion, our environment, our schooling, our teachers, our bullshit coaches that are sitting there giving you advice that is exactly the same for everyone. So there is over 69,000 touch points, combinations when you get your chart done. Let me say that again, over 69,000. So if there's over 69,000 touch points, how is it possible that there is a one size fits all? You know, like that's not possible. So when I got my chart done, there was a few things that we noticed. You know, there was things like, what is running my show? So I had 3 open areas. So I think about things that don't matter. Sometimes I feel undervalued. And the third one, you know, is, oh, now I've got a mental blank. How funny is that? See, now this is because I'm actually doing my homework here. It was undervalued, and it was my heart center was also open. And what happens is when you have an open center on your chart, instead of the energy, you can call it at any time, and it's innately coming from the inside out. When you have something that's open, it's coming from the outside in. So you are feeling everybody else's shit. So right now we've got the fear gates that are activating up until the 5th of December. So for some people, they have a fear. Say for me, mine is imperfectionism. So it's consistent because my spleen is colored in over here. It is a consistent feeling that keeps happening, and it's the same every time. But if it was open, I'm going to have an inconsistency. So I'm going to feel the fear of everybody else that's around me. You know, when we look at it, we're looking at your unconscious and conscious. I'm going to look at how many gates are repeated because it's going to be predominant. These are things I'm going to look at in a reading. I'm going to explain to you which one are you. So your generator, it's important that you do something that, you know, brings you joy. You know, this is how your energy works. I'm going to give you information on that. I'm going to look at, for example, you know, do you have, you know, all these, you know, what people call chakras, are they all talking together or are they split in different areas? Which means in my chart, my root, my sacral, and my spleen, which is a part of the emotional center where you care and fear, they're talking to each other, you know, and then you've got the heart, the identity, the throat, and the third eye talk to each other. But I'm looking for someone to bridge this gap here. And I'm looking for one of my motors to literally, the power motors, to connect me up to my throat so I can communicate better. So when I look at my chart, I go, if I really want to get shit done, I need to, as a soul, you know, entrepreneur and someone that, you know, works on my own, I need to go to a cafe, because I'm actually going to find, because most of the time someone who has got a gate I'm looking for is going to be a manifesting generator. They're about 35% of the population. They're going to be in a cafe, and just being in the energetics of that person helps me get shit done. You know, we're going to look at things like, you know, how are you supposed to, as your design, what is your keywords? So for me, I'm a generator. So the only word I have to describe everything and anything that happens in my freaking life is frustration. When I'm not in flow, I feel frustrated. But when I'm in flow, I feel success. You know, you've got some that feel anger, some that feel bitterness, you know. So literally it's about understanding how you operate. We're going to look at your profiles. You know, mine's a 2-4. So what that means is I'm a hermit opportunist. And because of the way that my design is, I need to sit silent like a mountain, sit still like a mountain to get clarity, to create opportunities. So I know I need time out. So for those of you that don't know me, I do what's called No Human Friday nights. So that means that is my time. I go in my Mel cave and I stay there to re-energize my batteries to help me to get that clarity that I need to get shit done. You know, we're going to look at your decision-making process for you. I don't give a shit about anyone else. I don't care what anyone else. I'm going to tell you, for you, as this particular being on your chart, how are you supposed to make decisions for you? Not for him, not for him, not for her, for you. Now that could be, it's never going to be by the head, by the way. It's never going to be up here. I 100% can put it in writing. It will never be from the mind. It could be that you need to talk out loud. And once you're talking out loud, you can actually hear your own truth. It could be you need a sounding board, so you need to bounce off other people. It could be from the heart. And from that one, it's the way that you get that feeling is coming from this activation here. It could be intuitive. It could be you need to feel it in the body. And where you're feeling it, you need to acknowledge, is it good, is it bad, is it coming from here, 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 or here? This is how you make decisions for you. So we've got different ways on how you make decisions. We'll look at what is your incarnation cross, and that is your purpose, okay? What are you here to do? And just knowing these things is so important. Then we can literally go into, why or where you will put weight on in your body. We can go into, business things, where you excel for certain things if you're going to go into business. We can look at, and to me, relationships is the most important part. So we can look at how you love, care, fear, and are sexually. None of the bullshit of what you've taught, literally underneath the mask of innately who you are and what is your personal, I call it song, for love. Now, once you actually work out your real love language and sexuality languages, and you sort this stuff out, and you know who you really are, let me let you in on a secret. The rest of the shit works itself out. You will find that work all of a sudden will flow. You will have questions I'm going to give you that every time you're in your not flow, okay, so for me, frustrated, I will ask the 3 questions, and for me, that I've been given, and go, am I thinking about something that doesn't matter? Do I feel unworthy and undervalued? And then I'll ask the question and I'll go, which one is a yes? And then let it go. So just to give you another quick story, last week I flew into Sydney and I was a little distracted because I was catching up with somebody, and I lost my laptop. And I didn't realize until I got back to my accommodation, and then I contacted the Airbnb and I'm like, did you see my bag? He's like, no. I contacted the Uber. Did you see my bag? No. And my reaction when I realized my laptop was missing was, okay. And I asked the questions, and then I went into a deeper, So then I contacted Sydney Airport, and I had to put in a lost property thing, and it turned up because I left it in the toilet. Now, the person I met up with, I literally just been trying to call Sydney Airport for half an hour, and I just put in a form because I just went, let's put in the form. And he's like, you're a tad calm for someone who's just lost not only my laptop, but 2 years worth of notes that I'd handwritten. And I was not freaking out. Now, the reason why I did not freak out is because I did my homework. I know my design. I know my questions that I'll ask. I also know about how to talk to the universe and ask it questions. How can it get any better than this? You want to learn about manifestation? Stop demanding shit from the universe. Ask the universe, how can it get any better than this? And I was not about to ruin my day, with somebody, because I only had 24 hours with someone. And so I had an amazing time, and the laptop came back to me. Now, on the way home, I also left my luggage at the airport because I was distracted making sure I had my laptop bag this time. And again, I laughed so hard that when I got home and I then realized I left another piece of luggage, I rang the airport car parking people, and I was laughing so hard he thought I was drunk, and he was like, again, you're so calm. And I'm like, it's because I have learnt what is running my show. Now, if I allow my shadows to run my show, shit doesn't happen, you're freaking out and you're stressed and all the rest of it. So what's the benefit of having your design done? You will understand how you operate. You will understand how your energy works, how you're supposed to make decisions for you, especially the big suckers. You know, how, what's running your show, what's fucking everything up for you. You know, you're going to find out how you love and you care, when it's inconsistent, when it's consistent, what things dominate who you are and how you behave. You know, if you're doing a reading on behalf of someone else, so normally it's a partner, you can learn what makes them honestly tick. You can understand when they shut down and why they're shutting down, when they're moody, you know, if that's part of their charts. You know, you can understand why maybe for someone getting married is not important. Now, I've been married twice, didn't give two shits whether I got married. It was important to my partners. So when I actually looked at our charts together, I could literally see how our relationship worked, where there was growth, and if there was growth electromagnetically, and what we actually had to work on, who had to compromise, and why I never felt like getting married was important, but why I allowed myself to get married because it was in their charts of just how important it was. And both these men have gone on to get married again and have children because it's part of their chart. Now, I have not done that because now I'm living as per my design and not what other people are telling me to do. Oh my God, there's so much I can tell you about human design. It's just like, you know, but the reality is, you know, we're using modalities that have been around since the beginning of time. You know, looking at the stars and astrology is the very first thing that was ever done, you know, 30,000 years ago. And, you know, 6,000 or, you know, BC, you know, we're talking 30,000 BC, I should say. It was 6,000 BC, the Sumerians actually started to jot down and record how that works and how the energetics work, you know, and then we're going into, you know, the different modalities from different parts of the world, and we've combined it in. Now, because I'm a liquid crystal practitioner, generally, if you're going to get a bigger reading, and not just dip your toe in the water, which you can do, I will also do a name reading. So, you know, yeah, you're an astrologer. Yeah, it is fascinating, isn't it? I'll see if I can just open this up and read this a bit more. Oh, you're a manifesting generator. Oh my God. Yes, yes, yes. Now it's Tiani. No, Tiani. I want to make sure I pronounce that correctly, because I know I've got an unusual name, Melina. But yes, you know, your birth name. And people that do astrology, because we've got an astrologer here, I found it interesting how many people have actually gone and changed their name because they look at the numerology component sometimes, you know. I'm like, your name is so important. And yes, you are a liquid crystal practitioner, so you understand the power of your birth name. You know, there's also a lot of power in your birth date and time. So if you have your birth, so this is how we do the readings. You know, love the enneagrams, MYER BRIGGS, 16 personalities, love them all. But every single one of those uses the mind. And as I said, you know, when you're in your head, you're dead. So, you know, the mind, you will find that you could do one of those readings and it is going to change. You know, like 8 months down the track, I went and redid, I think it was my disc profile, and it altered. This human design reading does not alter. This is, I'm going to give you a booklet that could be up to 100 pages, depending on your individual design. And I'm going to go, this is who you are. This is your blueprint. This is you. It ain't gonna change. And, you know, for those of you that always said, oh my God, I wish babies would come out with their own book, this is it. The amount of people that have been able to understand their children and understand that they are different. I actually had twins. It was interesting. I had a reading with twins and they were only born minutes apart. Now, their basic human design was the same, But I then added the name reading to it, and boy, oh boy, boom, that's where we saw where these two children were different. Now, the reading I did, I never met them. I never met the family. I never met the children. And it was actually a colleague of mine who is a sclerologist and iridologist. So she was helping out one of the twins, and I said, do not tell me who you're working with. I'm not interested. I just want to do this reading. So we did the reading, and I literally could tell her exactly which twin she was working with and what the physical ailments were that this kid was struggling with. And she was just like, how did you do that? Liquid crystals and human design. So I've got a few different packages because you know what, some of you have never done anything like this. You've never done personal development. You've never done your astrology chart. You've never done any of the above. So you can do just an audio reading. I call it dip your toe in the water, and you can start with that. It's about 20 to 30 minutes for the reading. So I call it the beginner. So this is for those of you who just want to just get a basic understanding, and I'm going to cover some of the really important things that you need to know about your individual design. For those of you that have actually done a lot more personal development work, you know a lot about the other kinds of personality profiling and stuff like that. For those people, you know, you would want to go into a more detailed one where you get a manual of who you are and you get a blueprint reading. With that, we're also going to be able to have a conversation together. So with that, we can do it via Zoom, or we can do Facebook Messenger, whatever you're comfortable with. And we're going to sit down and we're going to talk about your design, and we're going to have a conversation about it. Now, with those ones, I can just do a normal reading. I can do one that's a bit more in depth into your romance and your relationships. I can do one that's a bit more business. For those of you that know human design and you have done I'm going to say a lot more, like you've already started doing your homework that I've set for you, okay? So I'm going to just use basic homework to get started when you do your human design, because trust me, this shit changes your whole freaking life. For those of you that have done the homework and done a lot more and you know about human design, I do have an advanced one. Now, this particular reading we're going to do over quite a few sessions, because this is very, very deep, and we're going to literally go through every single conscious and unconscious gate. So when you get your readings done, so here we go. So when you get it, we're going to have, I've got all these numbers that come on both sides, okay? So one of them is this, on this side, this is what, this tells me what you wanted to experience this lifetime. And this side over here, I call your Akashic record. So this is the shit you've come in with, and it's innately in you. Now, they got their own songs, and so when I do these particular readings, we're going to literally go into every single component in your chart, which is really deep, and we're going to go and discuss each part. So this is for the real advanced people. So we're going to talk about, so we're going to come into something like this. So we're going to look at, what does each planet in your chart mean? What is your unconscious gate? And your life purpose, and what came in as your conscious or soul's purpose. We're going to look at your challenges and your gifts. We're going to come up with an I am statement, and we're going to, at the end of this, we're going to rewrite your story. Because we all got a bullshit story. In fact, some of us have multiple bullshit stories. You know, and I just want to add here, okay, this is me being very transparent. So I love my mum to death. Sometimes to that point where we just really struggled communicating. And when I did her chart, and I really should interview her for you guys. And you know what, I'm going to put that on the cards. Mama Bear, all right, we're going to do an interview. And I know she's not big on being on camera. However, my mother is a manifester. And I'm a generator. And with a manifestor's energy, it's very like this. It's very dense. And so sometimes they can attract their tribe really easily, but they have a tendency, especially when they're not understanding their energetics, they repel people, okay? And because I'm innately, naturally an energetic empath, I feel energy and I can feel the denseness. So I'm normally like, hey, keep away from me, woman. Please don't touch me, you know? And the poor woman is just all love and fucking, she just pours love to everybody. Everyone wants my mum, just so you know, as their mum. And I'm always trying to give her away. No offense, mum, I do love you. But I love the fact that you're just amazing and you can share the love. So when we looked at her energetics and how she operates, what's holding her back, where her fears are, you know, and started to explain how she needs to operate within a relationship. And she started doing the homework, which is simple homework. However, it's deconditioning. And this process, it took you 7 years to get your blueprint. So the first 7 years of your life creates how you behave as an adult. So this is all about deconditioning. So when she started doing the homework, and I can tell straight away when I'm around my previous clients whether they're doing their homework or not. Or when they text me, I might be very blunt and go, how's that working for you? You're doing the same shit again, are you? You know, because they're not doing the homework. So she started doing her homework. Her entire life has changed. She, in 1 year, is a completely different woman. Our relationship is completely different. She now understands as a manifestor, as a natural manifestor, and you're only 8% of you. So for those of you that are always running around, the amount of people that I've met, they're like, hey, I'm a manifestor. I know I'm a manifestor. And I open up the chart. I'm like, yeah, no, you're not. But you might have these particular gates, and how you use them might make you believe, or you're understanding that you need to ask the universe. You're manifesting, but you're not a natural initiator manifestor. So with manifestors, they need to not have things in doorways in their home because they're always moving so fast. And with mum, she'd start talking to me and she'd be halfway through a conversation before she'd open up her mouth and use her words. And I'd be like, woman, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, oh, I'm lost. And then she'll go from this conversation to that one because she's working so quickly. Doing that, I also describe with manifestors, they have a habit of, you know, you've got all the rest of us are standing on the train station with our luggage and we're waiting for the train, and the manifestor's the train, and they have a habit of just going through the platform and they forget to pick the passengers up. So a lot of projectors and a lot of manifestors, you guys are going to be dating generators. So the way that your energetics work is quite different, and you need to tell us what's going on, especially manifestor. So she wasn't telling all of us what was happening. She was just going and doing it. And then we feel left behind. So that whole mechanics and understanding how that works and how she was supposed to make decisions has been such a vital component in watching the growth and the change. Is she all the way at the finish line? Hells no. And even I'm not. Because what I hand to you guys is, you know, I'm a guide. I'm not a coach. I am a mentor, but I'm more of a guide. I'm going to give you a recipe guide of who you are. And I'm going to ask you to go and experiment, because this is what human design is all about. It is about experimenting with the real you, okay? Because as I say in my tagline, be yourself because everyone else is taken. So this is the crux. And you know, so many people have been asking me about all of this. So this is why I wanted to do this video, and I know I've talked for ages, but I've been so excited because this last week, the readings I did have had such a massive impact on the businesses and the relationships of the people that I was doing the readings for. And I know, and it lights me up, this brings me so much joy to be able to help people to better understand how they operate. And it's been a great journey for me to see how I operate and to operate at my optimal high vibrational energy instead of my low, crappy, depressed, fucking anxious, yuck version of me. okay? Because that's the difference. You will go out of your depressed, anxious state, and you will learn how to manage that better and move into more things going with flow in your life, attracting love. I get plenty of that, hence why I was distracted with my laptop. Anyway, so if you have questions, please feel free to message me. If you have gone and you've just had, your chart done and you've got this basic information, you go, yes, I know I'm a generator. I do have videos on my YouTube channel. You feel free, you can send me a message and I can send you the link, and it's going to be a quick 10-minute video on how a generator or manifestor operates for you. So I've got a lot of free videos for you guys that you can watch. Once you've had your chart done, I've also got a lot more free videos and understanding the different energy centers. There's 9 energy centers and how they work. I've got heaps of videos. I've got the ones that explain, about the sexuality gates and stuff like that. So feel free to message me because I want to get you guys on your journey to really connecting to yourself, because as I always say, be yourself because everybody else is taken. Bye from me, guys. Make sure that you subscribe so you don't miss my next video.